How's it going, guys? Grimsie42 here, and I've got some really interesting pickups to show you guys today. The first half of this stuff is going to be stuff that I got from friends, some really cool stuff from some really cool friends, and the second half is going to be the spoils that I got from a recent road trip that I took just a little bit out of town to a place called Rochester, New York. So definitely some exciting stuff. I hope you guys are excited to check it out. Without further ado, let's go. Alright guys, so just to get it started off, we're going to go with the biggest and maybe even the best item right off the bat, just to give you guys a little taste of what's to come. This is a really cool item that came from Japan. I picked it up from my good buddy Jay, not of the Game Chasers. They actually spell their names differently, but this is a local friend. He's actually really good friends with Ian Ferguson from Pat the NES Punk's show, so that kind of ties that all together for everyone. But basically, Jay, ever since I met him, has always been very enthralled by the Japanese culture of video games and Japan in general. He actually currently lives in Japan, and how I came about this item was he needed a ride to the airport in Toronto, which is like a 2-hour drive from me, and nobody wanted to give him a ride. I mean, I guess it is kind of a big deal to traverse to another country. It was a lot more inexpensive for him to travel to Japan that way. So, being his friend for multiple years, I said, no problem, I'll help you out. And a little before that, he just said, basically, you know, I really appreciate you helping me. There's some stuff I just won't be able to take on the trip with me. Are you interested in any of it? I'll give you bro price. And I did pick up a couple items. The first being this gigantic and awesome PlayStation 3 Limited Edition. This is the Final Fantasy 13 Limited Edition. And it comes with a copy of the game. It's got a really cool limited edition white PS3 in it with some really cool art on it. The real draw for me, though, on picking this up was that basically, I don't know if you guys watch the show GameSack. I'm a huge fan. On one of their episodes, they showed a lot of exclusive PlayStation Network games in Japan, some shooters, shmups, etc. And I really wanted to get my hands on those. And I figured having a Japanese PS3, perfect way. I know the system itself isn't region locked, but this would be a really cool way for me to check out some of those stuff. I can just link it to the Japanese PlayStation Network, which isn't too difficult. So definitely excited for that. The next item that I also got from him is a Crystal Pocket Station. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with these. They really weren't around very long, but it was a cool thing in Japan, and basically it's just a neat little mini PlayStation accessory. And this worked with a couple of games over here. If I'm not mistaken, it worked with Final Fantasy VIII. Just off the top of my head, I've never actually had the opportunity to test one, but I thought it was a neat little item and definitely something that was cool to get in my collection, so really appreciate that. Okay, the next item is something that I got from my good buddy Scott Squatch from the YouTube show Video Game Sellers. And this is something I've wanted for a while. I've really been trying to beef up my complete in box handheld games, you know, PSP, Game Boy Advance, all that stuff. And this one here is a Tales game, and it's Tales of Fantasia. So really cool to get this complete in box. Scott gave me a good price. I was actually going to pick it up from him because I do travel down where he lives, you know, at least once a year. But it just timed out better if he just sent it to me. So he sent it to me, and I'm glad to receive it. It came in really good shape, and definitely happy to add it to the collection. The next and last items I'm going to show you were all actually gifts from my good buddy Drew Teague. He's a really cool guy in the video game community. If you guys have ever traded with him or dealt with him, he's a really awesome guy. Definitely becoming a really good friend, and definitely somebody I'm glad to say is a friend. So looking forward to hanging out with him at Retropalooza. I believe he'll be there. The first item is a cool keychain. It's Mega Man 10, and I guess it's kind of like that rubber-based. Debating putting it actually right on my keys. I just don't want it to get like damaged in my pocket. And the next two items, he was fairly certain these worked. I already have downloaded them, so I can't test them myself. So I'm looking for one of my good buddies who doesn't have these on his Wii. I'm going to have him test to see if these codes are still active. And if so, then I may do like a future giveaway or something. I still got to figure out what I'm going to do with these. But anyways, guys, it's the download codes for the Wind Waker HD and then the Hyrule Historia. So these are really cool. I already, like I said, got these when I purchased the Wind Waker HD bundle for my Wii U. So definitely a cool little thing, and I'm super glad he threw those in. I will definitely find something to do with those. Alright guys, the rest of the stuff is going to be stuff that I picked up while I was on a recent road trip. Like I said, I went to Rochester, New York, and they have a chain of stores there called Game Craze, and then they have a few other stores that I checked out. So here's the stuff I picked up, and this first item, I was actually able to get the seller at the store to drop $5 off. It is a sealed game. Unfortunately, there's just a little tear on the seal, but better than not having it sealed at all. And to be honest, I was really more interested in the condition of it, because the copy I had, for whatever reason, the cover art didn't fit properly in it and it was kind of wavy. So just to have this in like perfect condition, I'm going to keep my other copy to play because I hear it's really fun. Anyways, it was $15, and it is a sealed copy of the Munchables. And again, I'm not sure how good your eyes are, but as you can see right there, probably a tear about this big. It's starting to peel, but definitely super glad to pick this up for $15. They wanted $20, but I guess it was $15 at one of their other locations, and they were willing to come down on it. So that worked out well. While I was at that location, I did notice something that I'd never seen before. And if you guys have any information, please let me know in the comments, because I've been really on the fence about getting it. It was a little bit expensive, but it was actually a big box of Punch-Out for the Wii, and it basically just came with a nunchuck, but I had never seen it in big box like that, and I looked it up on eBay, and there really weren't that many, so it's something that's not super common as far as I know. So if anyone has any extra information about that, if it was like a store exclusive or pre-order bundle or whatever, please let me know what you know. Definitely on the fence, and I would probably be a little more inclined to purchase it if I got more information, so definitely appreciate any help you guys could give there. Alright, the next item I picked up, I believe, I don't actually know where I got this one, but it was in the same pile. So it is a copy of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. Actually, the game is currently in my 3DS. I must have picked this up pretty cheap. I already have this sealed from when I originally purchased my 3DS, way back when this first came out. I think this was like almost a launch title, if it wasn't a launch. And I know that it's gone up crazy recently, so I probably picked up this loose copy to play it and still be able to keep the other one sealed, because I think it's like over $100 sealed right now. It's ridiculous. Alright, next I got a couple of PlayStation 1 games, and the next, pretty much all of the next pickups I'm going to show you guys are from a store called Heckle & Jekyll, which is located in Rochester. It's kind of a video game / sports card type store. And unfortunately, they are going out of business. It's very difficult in the current market to have a successful video game store, because if your prices are too low, the resellers are going to suck you dry of inventory and nobody else will shop there. If your prices are too high, everybody's going to complain that the prices are, you know, at par or equal to eBay. And it's just such a difficult field. And I really have a lot of respect for anyone who can successfully run a video game business at this point. But anyways, enough of that. The pickups here. This first one was just a couple bucks. It is a, I think it's a dual disc. Yeah, it's a dual disc game. It's in one of these larger double disc jewel cases. And it's G-Police? Yeah, G-Police, I guess, is the official title. And complete and in really good shape. This next one I've owned in the past as part of my PS1 collection. Unfortunately, I had to part with it back many years ago, early 2000s. And I'm really happy to have it back in the collection. I'm almost to the point where I've got all of the PS1 RPGs back that I had from, you know, probably my mid-20s. I had to let them go to purchase a car. Had a little bit of money trouble back in the day, but slowly putting that collection back together, a little more expensive than it was then. Anyways, this one is RPG Maker. And I was always really interested in the whole premise behind this. I always thought that, you know, if I put a lot of time into it, I could probably make a really cool RPG, but I'm a lazy bastard, so that hasn't happened yet. But maybe if I get a long vacation or something, I will tinker at this, or maybe just little by little over time. Alright, the next game here, I believe, is complete in box. Yeah, I got this one for $5, and it is Harley's Humongous Adventure. So as you can see, the box is not perfect. It's got a little bit of dinging and a tear here, which is kind of an eyesore, but pretty much a solid box. It's got a little bit of residue there. I don't think I was able to get it off easily. I tried a little Goo Gone. I don't want to damage the box any further, so for now it's going to stay there. I'll figure it out later, but like I said, cart is inside, super, super clean, so really happy there. And then also included was the manual. This next item here I also got for $5, so I was very, very happy to do that, and this one is also complete. The reason I check before I say is that I, in the past, have purchased boxes and manuals from them. They're really cool, they're willing to separate, and they usually give you a fair price. This one is Hyperzone by HAL America. I always assume that stood for Howard A. Lincoln. I could be mistaken. HAL Laboratories. Again, not sure. Could be mistaken, but looks like a, I don't know, a high-speed racing / shooting game, I guess. Kind of looks like F-Zero. So if anyone's heard about it, let me know. I grabbed it because I thought it might be a shooter. But again, there is the cartridge, and it looks like it's an early release because it doesn't have the little indentation there. And then, of course, the manual. So that was cool. This last item I'm going to show you guys, I would like to call this a Catch Them Slipping. It was there for a while, too. And I'd recently saw that my friend Nintendo64 had picked this up, and I'll link Sean below for you guys to check him out. Really good editing. He actually does the little introduction you see with the firebrand flying by at the start of my videos. But anyways, enough about that. This game, he recently picked it up, and I was a bit jealous because, you know, I'm going eventually for complete N64, and this is one of the harder ones to track down. The cartridge, not so much, but the box and manual, super, super hard to track down. I believe it was a Blockbuster exclusive, and it is International Track and Field 2000. And this box is not perfect, but as you can see there, I left the price on. It says $11.99, and to find it for $11.99 with the manual, the box, and then just to further my theory, it still has the Blockbuster sticker on it. I'm not really going to attempt to take any of that off. Got the security seals on the back. I actually think that in the case of Blockbuster exclusives, I prefer the sticker on there, to be honest. It kind of, just like I said, adds to the authenticity of the story, and obviously, you know, that it was at a Blockbuster. Kind of a cool little piece, and, you know, obviously, if I ever see a clean cart, you know, separately for a good price, I'll pick it up just so I have a you know, a good condition copy for the collection. But really interesting to see this sitting in there. I guess not a lot of people know that it's hard to find, or would just second guess and think it's a sports game. Anyways, to pick this up, and I want to say it said $11.99, but I bundled it down. I paid like $8 for it, so I think this is like over $100 complete. So definitely super happy there. And last but not least, this game here was actually a gift. And it was a gift on two parts, I guess. Partly from 8-Bit Evolution, who makes some really cool repros, and definitely check them out. I will link them below. And then more so from the person who manufactured it, my good buddy Adam, who goes by Gunstar777 on YouTube, and I'll link him down below also. He's a really big Sega enthusiast, and he does a lot of really obscure videos on like Sega CD sports games and stuff like that. So definitely an interesting channel. He's not the type of guy that's going to, you know, just show you the most popular game to go for clickbait views or anything like that. He truly puts passion into what he does, and he talks about, you know, like I said, some of the more obscure Sega stuff, and he's got a really, really good Sega collection. Actually, among all my friends, I think he's pretty much the only guy who has what I would consider a better Sega collection than I do, because I've really been beefing it up as of late, and I really can't say off the top of my head that anyone, maybe Alpha Mega Sin, I know his Saturn and Sega CD collection's really, really nice. He might be right up there too, but anyways, Adam's collection, it's his specialty, and it really shines, so maybe I can harass him to do a game room tour in the near future for you guys. But anyways, what he made for me, and I was super grateful, was a copy of Mega Man The Wily Wars. And as you can see, it's complete in box here, and it's got the American art. This was originally slated to come out in America, but unfortunately it never did. It was available on the Sega Channel, and this was a PAL in Japan exclusive. And what this is basically a really cool combination of the first 3 Mega Mans for the NES, except it's got enhanced graphics. I would say kind of a mix between the NES and Mega Man 7's graphics on the Super Nintendo. It's got the 16-bit quality, but it still, I think, maintains the look of the originals a little better than 7. I know in 7 the sprites were really big, So this is a really, really cool piece, and I'm super happy to get this in the collection. I threw it in my Retron right when I got it and messed around with it. It's definitely really, really fun. And like I said, something I'm really happy to add to the collection. Hopefully one day I can get the PAL version. I'm in the market for that, and Alien Soldier, a few others. But super, super grateful to Adam. Really appreciate this. And again, thank you very much to 8-Bit Evolution. And as far as you guys, thank you very much also for sticking around to the end. And until next time, guys, take care.